Mic check 1 2 1 2. It's the Y2K collector, and I'm gonna go through with you my best online pickups during the spring and summer of 2024. These were a combination of eBay, Mercari, OfferUp, and all of these were purchased based on offers that were made. So I made offers based on the asking price, and some of these required a little negotiating, and some of these sellers pretty much bit on my first offer. So I'll kind of go through with you here on some of these. For some reason, the online orders are are a little harder to remember, just what I paid on all of these, but I'm gonna go ahead and do my best just to try and remember what I settled for on all the prices of these games, and I'll also try to remember what the asking price on these games are going for now. So first up is going to be Spider-Man the Animated Series. Pick this up for the Super Nintendo. I found this game at a GameStop as well. I believe I offered $24 for this, and I think we negotiated it up to 26 bucks with the seller on eBay. I believe shipping was free on this one. But this was one that I knew was going to be a long shot before I found this in a retro game store. And they were pricing these kind of high at retro game stores. Most retro game stores I saw this at had it at like 30 to 35 bucks. And it was just a little bit more than I wanted to pay. So I found someone online who was willing to sell it at a little bit of a cheaper price and got it. Glad to add this one to the collection though. This was one that I really wanted to get complete in box on the Genesis. That though is just, I think it's like 60 bucks complete in box online for the Genesis. So definitely was not trying to pay $60 for that game. So that was a healthy little compromise on that. Next game that we found that I got online was King of Dragons. So cool deal with this one. So this, I believe, was a Mercari pickup. I had some credits. Sorry, no, OfferUp. Either OfferUp or Mercari, I can't remember. Had some credits, went ahead and put in an offer on this one. I think I initially offered like 80 on this one. I believe they were asking like 110 maybe or 105. And I believe we settled on this one at around 80, either 85 or 90. Shipping was free on this one, and this was before I think Mercari changed it to where the buyers now have to pay all of the fees. The sellers were still paying all of like the fees and everything like that. All you paid as a buyer was taxes and shipping. So this one wound up netting to around like 95 bucks, I think, after taxes and everything, with free shipping. This is a really cool one. This is a part of the Capcom, like the notorious Capcom beat 'em ups. And I picked this one up because even though the label isn't in perfect condition, it was in pretty darn good condition for a Super Nintendo game. So I went ahead and picked that one up there. Same thing with the Spider-Man game. Both of these, just the labels were in really good condition. So went ahead and picked those up. Next one, I know what I got for this one. So this one, seller was definitely asking like 110 on this one. Definitely was not about to pay 110 for this, even though this game does go for over $100. Musaya is kind of like it's not as fun as you would think it would be. The controls on this game are a little stiff. The level designs look really cool, but then, like, I remember when I initially saw the footage for this game, it was giving me Hagane vibes, and I was like, ooh, cool, like, yeah. And then I got it and I started playing it, and it's cool, but you kind of get over it pretty quickly. But still, this was a pricier one. I think I offered, and I think we settled at $90 on this one. So I got this one for about 90 bucks online. This was a pretty cool pickup. This is like just like a ninja, like a samurai style game. He doesn't hit the moves in this game. You don't get like a lot of moves. This game really isn't as exciting as you would think it is. I think it's just that it's rare and you don't see it that often, but this was one that I did want to add to my collection nonetheless. Musaya, was glad to add that one. So I was on a big Spider-Man kick this summer. Wanted to add back a bunch of Spider-Man games that I sold. Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro was one of them. When I had this before, my old copy was actually, I think I had the greatest hits version. So I was actually glad to get this in a black label. Picked this one up for 42 on this one. That might be a little bit over market price. I'm not sure. You guys can let me know down in the comments, or it might be right at market price for this game. But this one came in at 42. Not bad on this one to add to the collection. The Spider-Man games are all fun. Going all the way back to like the Genesis era, all the Spider-Man games are just fun to me. They're all like really fun action platforming beat 'em up style games, and the web swing factor just makes it so much more fun. Whether it's in 2D, 3D, Spider-Man games are just a ton of fun. I love them. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one because I've been gushing over this game for the last couple weeks ever since I got it. But Rapid Reload, was so glad to add this one to the collection. Did have to order the side label because everything on this was original. The manual's original, the cover art was original, the back art is actually original. It was just missing the side panels. So I had to order the side panels to complete the game, make it look official. The case is official, the disc is official. So, negotiated back and forth with someone online, and I believe we settled at 183 on this game. And then I also had to pay shipping on top of that. Um, a complete in-box copy of Rapid Reload. I think the highest one I saw, because one was recently posted, was going for like $600. So this is like a $600 game if you get it in the Rapid Reload form. There is a Japanese version of this game, which is the same exact game, and it's called Gunner's Heaven. Um, and it's way cheaper. I mean, if you get Gunner's Heaven, is like the average for that game is like 89 to like $90 for that game. I think I've even seen Gunner's Heaven go for like in the 70s. Rapid Reload though, complete in box, you're really not gonna pay anything less than like $400 for this game, complete in box. I think the disc alone, like if you get Rapid Reload, is somewhere around $200. And that's because Rapid Reload is the version that's translated into English. It's basically translated into all the European languages, right? French, Dutch, German, all that stuff. I picked it up because you can play it in English. So this is the English version. If you pick up Gunner's Heaven, there's a lot of text in this game. There's like a lot of like story. This is a very story-driven game. If I picked up Gunner's Heaven, it would have all been in Japanese, and I was having a hard enough time just getting this PAL game to play. I did not want to have to figure out how to translate that game into English, and I think, you know, being able to read the story is a big part of a game like this, because while it is a run and gun game, it's just the characters and the story behind it are super cool as well. So I'm glad because I got a heck of a deal on this one. Just considering two things. One, complete in box, like I said, this is like a $500 to $600 game. And then on top of that, like there's not very many copies of this game floating around. I scoured the internet trying to find a cheaper copy, and I could only find like 3 listings for this game. So you don't even really see a lot of listings for Rapid Reload. Maybe more will pop up now. Maybe it was just the time that I was looking, but you won't find a lot of listings for this. And most people in America won't be looking for this because, like I said, this is a PAL game. You need a PAL PlayStation 1 to play it. I happen to have both, so this one worked out for me, but super glad to be able to pick that one up, and I thought I got a killer deal on that game. Got a couple cheap ones. So episode 3, wound up paying like $13 for this game online, and I think that's pretty much what this goes for. Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. This is a really cool side-scrolling, like hack and slash beat 'em up style game. I like the fact that you can use the Force in this game. There's a lot of moves for like a game this simple, and for this being like a movie-driven like title. This game plays very well. Like a lot of moves. You got your weapons. You can use the Force. To attract enemies, to repel enemies, to pick up objects with the Force. Is really cool game. I think this one's an underrated sleeper. And I had this before in much better condition than this one. I'm kind of sad that I sold my original version because that was like in like new condition. Oh well, got it back. Not too bad of a price. Was glad to add that back. Here's another online pickup, Naruto. Now it was hard to find a cheap copy of this game. For some reason, when I was looking, every copy that I saw was like around $30. I found it for 18, so I was glad I settled at 18. I think I had to pay shipping on this, so it wound up ending up being like $24 or something like that. But this is a very fun one too. I think the other day I said that this plays like Shaman King, but I take that back. This one actually plays a lot more like Dragon Ball Z Adventure on the Game Boy Advanced. If you've ever played Dragon Ball Z Adventure on the Game Boy Advanced or Advance, that's exactly almost like how this plays. It like you're doing like little combos. There's like a satisfying smack whenever you attack enemies. Just the sprite work in this game is very good. Just a very good game. So this one too is a sleeper. Was glad to add that one in to the collection. All of these are staying in the collection. Got some NES action here. So I picked up a copy of Silver Surfer on the NES. I picked this up because this is low-key a pretty cool shoot 'em up game. Some of the levels play like a top-down shooter, and then some of the levels play like a side-scrolling shooter, and it's got pretty good sprite work for an NES game. So this was one that I was glad to add. Picked this one up for 27 bucks, I think, online, which is what this kind of goes for. I've seen the price on this fluctuate. I've seen this go for like 40. I've seen it go for less. 27 seems like a fair market price for that game. So picked up a copy of Silver Surfer. Shadow of the Ninja. So Shadow of the Ninja was one that was a little bit elusive. The price for this game was all over the place. I was able to settle on a copy of this game at, I think 75 was the offer that I put in for this one. No, 69 I think was the online offer they accepted, and I was able to pick this one up. I paid 75 for a different game. It wasn't this one. This one I got for about 69. I think I had to pay shipping on that one, so it probably wound up being around 75 after taxes and shipping and things like that. Not the best condition, to be honest with you. It looked better. The listing looked better. This cartridge has definitely seen some better days, but at least the label was somewhat intact. But Shadow of the Ninja is just a really dope game. They did a remake of this game, which really plays nothing like the original. This is a really, really cool NES game. Like, I would have been playing this game a ton back in like 89 if I had this game, or 90. I think this came out in the 90s actually. It's like a 90, 91 or 92, 90. Somebody let me know down in the comments. But this is actually a really cool game. Glad to add this one to the collection. I was on a real NES kick at the start of the year. It was crazy. This is the game that I wound up getting for 75. So Ninja Gaiden 3. I put in an offer on this one. I'm not gonna lie, I think I tried to lowball the guy on this one. I think I gave him like a 68 offer. He wanted 90 for it. We settled at 75. Ninja Gaiden 3. This is roughly around a $100 game, to be honest. It is a very good, like, when you're playing this game, you do feel the difference between like Ninja Gaiden and Ninja Gaiden like 1, because they like aesthetically, most of them look the same, although the color palette on Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2 looks a lot more like pale, and the colors aren't really vibrant. They really stepped up the vibrancy of the colors in Ninja Gaiden 3. The backgrounds look better. The gameplay was a little bit better. So this is definitely a dope one. Glad to have it in the collection. I'm a big action platforming, hack and slash, ninja style kind of guy, so this was a great add to the collection. Next up, another 75er, Shatterhand. Got this one for 75 as well. Very dope game. I love the fact that you can combine different weapons. You're really your only attack is a punch, and then like once you get like this floating robot helper that helps you with special attacks. It's a very, very fun game. I hate the label on this game though. I'm not gonna lie. I wish to God they would have done a different label on this, but it is what it is. It was the 80s, and you saw labels like this. What are you gonna do? But still a fun game. Glad to have added it to the collection. Had some PS3 action. The Hulk. So this is a game that I thought would have been really cheap, because I know that I had seen this game up to maybe about 2 years ago floating around GameStop for like in the teens, like, 12, 15 bucks. Somewhere along the lines, the price of this game shot up, because when I really went to go looking for it at GameStop, I couldn't find it. There were no copies available at GameStop. And then I started looking like on, the online market, eBay, stuff like that. And everybody wanted like 40 plus for this game. I was like, why? I didn't get it. Now there is a PlayStation 2 version of this game, which is horrible graphically. It's supposed to be open world, but the open world feels very limited. The open world in this one feels very broad and vast, and that's due in large part to the PS3 graphics. Everything is upscaled. The Hulk looks great in this one, and it plays pretty decent. I'm not gonna lie, it plays pretty decent. It's not the best Hulk game, but it is a fun Hulk game. I picked up my copy for about 32 bucks. A lot of incomplete copies floating around there. I had to make sure that mine came with the manual, and this one came in very good condition. This was like if I'm gonna buy a game online, it for the most part it has to be in good condition, unless like I'm getting a really good discount for it not being in great condition. But definitely picked up the Hulk, was glad to add this one. And I was just on a Marvel kick this whole summer, just adding like Spider-Man and X-Men games like left and right. Just really wanted to add to that aspect of my collection. Speaking of Spider-Man, added a copy of Spider-Man 3 for 28 or 27 bucks on this one. I can't remember. But I know that this is missing the slip cover. I almost didn't get this. The reason why I did get this one was because it did come with the disc. It did have the manual, and then it also had this like lenticular card from the movie. But this isn't complete. The manual's in great condition. The disc is in good condition. It plays, it's cool. Everything is good. The only thing that it's missing is the slip cover. I wish it had the slip cover. It did not. So hopefully one day I'll run into a slip cover somewhere. And I'm sure I'll wind up buying another copy of this just to add the slip cover, and then I'll sell what's left of the other copy, unless the other copy is just as complete and in better condition. Who knows? But this was a good pickup. I think this goes for in the 30s somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. I definitely got it under market value. Most of these were either at market value or under market value when it comes to these pickups. So didn't really get like, these pickups weren't like GameStop where it was like an average of 30 to 35% off. I would say I probably paid on average 5 to 10% below market value for pretty much all these games. Max I paid was like 20% off max. But the bulk of these, maybe 10 to 15. Bulk of these games, 10 to 15% below market value. Next one up we have here is Spider-Man. Now this game just didn't make sense to me. 4 years ago, this was like a $15 game, $20 game, complete in box. Today, this is like, I don't know what the deal is. This game is like 40 to 50 bucks. Like, it's crazy. And finding, again, this is another one of those Genesis games where finding a copy where the manual isn't completely destroyed is near impossible. The manual on this one was actually in pretty decent shape. Actually, I'm about to take that back. What's it in here? Let me see. So is this a card or a sticker? Okay, yeah. So the manual in this one is actually in pretty good shape. This was in really good shape. When you look at it, the manual on this was pretty tight. A little bit of dog earring on that corner, but for the most part, it was pretty solid. The cartridge was looking pretty good. The cover art was looking pretty good. What I thought was interesting about this one was that this copy actually still had the Genesis Presents Spider-Man Secret Challenge contest. So I've had a few copies of this game come and go out of my collection, but I never had one that actually had this. So I thought this was super cool and super nostalgic. I was pretty stoked to see this in the case. So this was one that I definitely grabbed. Had to pick this one up. Had to add this back just because this one means more to me than just the game. This is one of those games that I sat and watched my brother play every day after school for like a year straight. He would always get hung up on that stage where I think the boss is like, there's a gorilla stage where the boss is like a gorilla or like a mini boss. And then I think in that same stage, you got to fight the Sandman, who it just back then, the Sandman seemed like super hard to beat. Like, I don't know what the deal was. But I vividly remember all the bosses, and then him finally getting to Kingpin and that just being like a near impossible. One of the things that stuck out to me the most with this game was how if you went home, like you could go back to Peter Parker's room to like recharge your energy, and then go back. I just thought that was an interesting feature to the game, and my brother would just be walking back and forth in Peter Parker's room, just standing there, letting his energy recharge. Because sometimes you didn't, you weren't finding energy boxes, and so you just had to go do that to get your energy back. Or I like the fact that you could take photos of throughout the levels, and depending on what you took a photo of, you could make money from it and use the money to buy web fluid. Very cool game, man. Just very, very cool. The music is a little bit creepy, a little edgy, a little jazzy. Just really like this Spider-Man. This is a good one. This is a very good one. Recommend it. On this, I want to say I paid in the 30s. Can't remember if it was in the low 30s or like if it was around 38, but I know this game ran me around 30 bucks or so. This one was like the earlier in the summer, but I'm really glad to add this one back. I'm gonna say that I paid market value for that. I'll just play it safe and say, or maybe 5% under market value on that one. Here we have a more recent pickup. Now this one I know I paid I got a 20% discount off of market value with this one. So this is Alisia Dragoon. I paid 85 for this. No, I paid 80 for this. This one goes for around 100 to 105. I've seen this one go to 110. This copy is almost perfect. I mean, just immaculate. The cover art is in great shape. When you pop the game open, I was actually playing this last night on my Nomad, but the cover art is in great shape. That cartridge is in great shape. I mean, that label looks like it's never been touched, and the manual is in really good shape. So this is a very good copy of this game. Alisia Dragoon is just really fun. It's a really fun game. My favorite sidekick is that dragon that just does that flash that just takes enemies out. He just does this lightning strike or something, and it just takes all the enemies out. Very fun, very interesting game. This one's right up there with Spider-Man, man. I mean, just two very classic Sega Genesis games. I definitely recommend. You don't need to buy this game to play this, though. You can just pick up a Sega Genesis Mini and try it out there. But this was definitely a nostalgia play. These were two nostalgia plays that I needed to get my hands on over the summer. So super glad that I went ahead and added those. And then we'll wrap this up with some PS2 stuff. So picked up this copy of the Red Star. I've talked about this a ton. Y'all know how much I love this game. This side-scrolling hack and slash shoot 'em up style game on the PS2. This is just a ton of fun. If you've never heard of this, check it out. The Red Star on the PS2. This game, bought it brand new for $70. So it was still sealed when I bought it. Now I know by opening it, I knocked the value down a ton, but I couldn't wait to get this game. And as soon as I got it, I cracked it open and just started playing it. But yeah, I mean, look at that manual. I mean, perfecto. I'm still going to keep it in great shape. It's just not sealed, but hey, who cares? I really wanted to play this game and I had a ton of fun playing it. Put up some videos about it the day I started playing it. This was fun. This is one that I'm glad I added back to the collection. I was actually sad when I sold it, but the copy that I had before didn't have the manual. So I was actually glad because in a way I kind of upgraded. So, whoa. Had to drop this one. Okay, so Spawn Armageddon. This is a fun kind of adventure, hack and slash style beat 'em up game. I mean, in this one you do have projectiles. He does have a gun that you can shoot. You can use the chains that he has to attack enemies, which I thought was really cool. You can actually use the chains to rip enemies apart. You've got your magic. You can basically ninja jump off walls. The mechanics in this game are really cool. Very linear, but still very cool game. If you grew up with Spawn, then this is going to mean a lot more to you. I remember when Spawn first came out when I was a kid, Todd McFarlane, I had the very first copy, had the very first action figure. Obviously didn't keep up with it, but Spawn was huge. Even remember the movie with Michael Jai White. This was a big deal to me. So I had this in my collection, sold it like a numbskull. Glad that I got it back. I think I paid like $22 for this game. So that was one that I was glad to get back into the collection. Hulk. This was another like $24 game that I wound up picking up. I had to do a case swap because the original case that I got with this was not in good shape. So I did a case swap just to kind of upgrade this one a little bit. But Hulk Ultimate Destruction, this is actually the best Hulk game of retro Hulk games, in my opinion, especially between the Genesis, the PlayStation 1, the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3. I know I just spent some time talking about that Hulk over there, but this Hulk that actually is way better than that Hulk in terms of gameplay. This is a lot more fun. You get a lot more moves. It's open world. you get the real smash and bash feel of Hulk playing this game. This also came out across a number of platforms. I think this was available on the GameCube and the Xbox, but PlayStation 2 was actually the best way to play this game, to me. That's my thoughts. But a very good game, definitely one I would recommend you checking out. Um, Seven Samurai. So this was like 19 bucks online. A very cool samurai game. Just a ton of fun. If you're into samurai hack and slashers, this is an interesting story. The bosses are very interesting. If you're into samurai hack and slash games, this is a cheaper one that I definitely recommend you check out. I think this is like a $20 game. So with me paying like 19, I pretty much got it at market value. But there's so many really good, fun, cheap PlayStation 2 games that you gotta just like check out the library. I'm sure you'll find at least 10 games that you'll enjoy. So glad to add that back to the collection. And then last but not least, Maximo, Army of Zin. So I actually picked this up. I actually got a really good deal on this one. So I paid 39 bucks for about 5 PlayStation 2 games. Found the deal on Mercari, and in the 39 and for the 39 bucks, I got Maximo Army of Zin, Maximo Ghost Glory, Max Payne, the Simpsons game, and like a Call of Duty game. All for 39 bucks. So I know Maximo goes for like 35 to 40 bucks. So when I saw the ad, I was like, all right, this game is going to pay for the rest. I thought I was going to sell them all, but I actually only sold Maximo Ghost Glory. I sold Max Payne, and I sold the Call of Duty, but I kept Maximo Army of Zin, and I kept the Simpsons game. So I'm surprised I don't have the Simpsons game up here, because that was a cool online pickup as well. But this is the other meaningful PlayStation 2 game that I picked up. This by no means is all of the online pickups that I made between spring and summer, but these were the most notable ones that I picked up, and they range in price. So these range anywhere from $13 all the way up to $400 in value. Just a wide range, but just a wide range of games, all following the same theme. They're all like hack and slash, adventure, beat 'em up style games, action games, which is what I'm a huge fan of. Not a lot of RPG. I don't think any one of these games is an RPG game, at least not in this bunch, but some really good stuff here. Let me know if what you think, what you see. Let me know if you feel like I overpaid for any of these games. Did I get good deals? What do you think about the condition of these games? And I'll be back with the next video for the day in a little bit, just showing you all of the games that I picked up in the wild from places other than GameStop. I'll be back with that video a little bit later on. It's the Y2K Collector. Take it easy.